let's see. Let's contextualize this situation because it's very interesting. Like we have the 2008 crisis, which destroys the economy of several countries. And then in 2011, we have the monetary crisis in Europe. We have the Arab Springs, and we have the demonstrations in Moscow against Putin. All with the same origin, which is very interesting. It's like someone was trying to give a coup, a world global coup all over the world back then. How do you guys see that?
No, generally speaking, okay, you have to understand something. Throughout history, there was never a revolution that was conducted out of ideology. The revolution generally comes out of economic reason. The reason why the Arab Spring started, it's not because people wanted democracy. Trust me, in the Arab world, we don't want democracy. We don't want liberalism. We don't want that.
You want better conditions.
We want just
you want to live better.
We just want to live better level condition and corruption. As far as we can say, as long as the guy in top is like, yeah, Allahu Akbar, we're fine with that. But that's pretty much the entire demand of the Muslim war. But the problem that we have is that the Arab Spring 2011, it was a period of economical downturn for the Arab world. Syria, the economy completely contracts. Egypt is. Do you know how many people live in Egypt? 100 million people.
Oh yeah, it was 90 million 10 years ago. So I was about to say 100.
Yeah, 100 million. There's 100, and they live in 5% of the territory. 5% of.
Rommel, your country is 37.5 million people. Algeria has almost 45 million people. Your countries, okay, Algeria is big, but also the habitable part is small. Your countries are actually big countries, very big countries.
Yeah, we're very big.
African countries are really, really big. If you see Angola is bigger than Portugal 14 times.
Yes, we're big.
Angola's population is small. We are talking about, if we see countries not by their geographical side, but by their population side, and also some other data. Morocco and Algeria are huge countries.
If you see Ukraine is the biggest country in Europe without Russia. Angola is bigger than.
Yes. Course, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking. This is something very special.
About population. Yes, but you see.
Yes, I see.
African
this is something
countries.
Very important.
I left Angola in 1998. The population between Angola and Portugal was just 3 million. Portugal was 8 million. Angola was 11. But now I think Portugal is on 9. Angola is in 34.
Yes, but let me say something different. This is quite interesting because this is what these countries have as a power. They still have a problem. They have a huge youth population. It's like more or less 25% of the population, 27 in Morocco, is under 15 years old. But 65% of the population in Morocco and 64 in Algeria, these are people in their working age. This is an immense working power. So these countries have a huge potential. I don't know if they understand the potential they have now. Their population is... the problem, Voz do Povo, is that Angola has too much younger people. But that's still another problem. It's not 25, it will be 40%, which is much worse. But
I've actually heard that the demographic factors that you're pointing out, the age grouping, like how old they are and so forth, is and this is recurring across most of Africa. Most African countries have a very young population or an upcoming young population. They have a very heavy based population graph. And this, I've heard this argument is that this is one very important factor that is likely to make Africa very geopolitically relevant over the coming decades. For this, because we have the opposite. In, for example, the Western world is an aging population only compensated through immigration, and this is an all. Yeah. So
If you see Italy,
Wait, guys,
Yes,
do you
but
know
I'm
who
going to
picture?
another point. You have these African countries that have huge amount of young people, and this amount of young people is a burden for their development. Now, Morocco and Algeria have a 25 group of young people. That's okay. That's manageable. The most important thing to notice here is that 75% of their population is on working age. These are productive people. And if these countries industrialize, they will become huge powers. Do you see
Yeah.
what I mean? Do you see
Yeah.
what I mean? Especially because Algeria has lots of resources and Morocco may have them. If they develop, they are going to be, they were going to overturn Europe. Well, not Europe, but will become very important.
It's very
I
similar
give
to
you,
the
I give
situation
you,
for
I give you
China, right?
50 years. I'll give you 50 years, and Africa's gonna overturn Europe. Just 50.
Guys, if you're really interested in this topic, you should look for Peter Zihan. I don't know if you know this guy. No?
Peter Saihan.
Yes, he
I
appeared on
think
Joe
I've heard
Rogan.
him.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Peter
appeared on
Zihan.
Joe Rogan. He appeared on Joe Rogan recently, and he explained what we're talking about in heavy detail. No, bottom line, the vast majority of the Eastern European nations are gonna disappear because they don't have the young population that reproduce. They're gonna disappear completely. Germany,
No.
see,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, Germany has been kicking. Do you know how Germany was capable
Look,
of maintaining its
look, Italy.
nuclear
Look
power?
at Italy.
Wait. This is a very serious point. You know how Germany has been capable of maintaining its own population, its own power by immigration. In the 1980s, Germany realized that it doesn't have the population growth anymore in order to sustain its economical survivability. So what they did, they invited this Eastern European nation into the European Union and introduced them into the Schengen area. Yeah, guys, you know what the Schengen area is, yeah, right?
Yeah.
A lot of these, so a lot of Eastern European, sorry. So a lot of these Eastern European people moved to Germany and started working there. That the problem is for the Eastern European, those same Eastern European lost their young population. If you look at their demographic chart, it's pretty much inverted. There is more old people than there is young people, and the young people are shrinking ever greatly. I believe, if I'm not correct, I don't know exactly, that the Baltic nation in the year 2050 will have 100,000 working people. That's it. In the three nations, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia will have
the
just
Baltic
100,000.
states.
Yes, Poland has
Yeah,
28.
and you have to understand that some countries in Europe, their future is to have old people and all their industry exists to sustain the older population that is not able to work anymore. This is horrible. So we see many of the process that we are seeing nowadays is in trying to gain time for these countries to create a system, yes, where they can survive in an economy for old people. Do you see what I mean? So
That's
all we
not gonna
see
happen.
now.
That's not gonna happen because the problem is not about the
Hey.
economy. It's about the military. If you only have old people, who's gonna defend the country? Like the problem that you have is that Putin didn't need to do anything. All what he had to do, because it's a conservative country, Russia is a conservative country, all what he had to do is to focus the resources of the state on the family so that he can increase the birth rate. And in 2050, he's gonna have 30% of the entire population of Europe will be living in Russia. He would have won by then, just because of this little factor. So if he only waited without having to invade Ukraine, he could have won already. He's still gonna win because Ukraine is gonna disappear. Ukraine as a state, as a nation, is not gonna survive this war. Because the more they suffer casualty, that means that the more they're gonna lose their capability to produce. So Ukraine as a state.
How do you find?
If you
Please,
see,
Oh, Wyatt, please.
yeah,
No,
right.
I want to hear the Aymen's opinion because he had been raised his hands for a number of times, but he also dropped off a number of times.
Yes.
So you want to give Aymen some airtime as well.
Yeah, the moment I don't speak, I drop. That's what I want. I want to always to.
Oh, then he dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah,
but
you know the thing.
Rommel,
The
what you were
thing.
saying,
The
you
thing is,
started a really good question.
Prata, you know this. You see, 400 years ago, yeah, Portugal was the country to beat. Look at Portugal now. You see, this is the same thing. Italy is gonna be next. Italy is full of old people.
I was just
France?
hoping we could stay on one side here. One side here.
France. Okay.
Yes.
Aymen is back. Aymen is back. Aymen, yeah, you talk also will drop, so you better talk faster.
It's your time. Go on.
Oh no, I think he's. Oh.
You waiting me?
You're going to say something.
Are you waiting? Because hello.
Yeah,
Yes, we can
we're
hear
waiting for you.
Problems.
Wait.
Continue.
Before we start, Aymen. God forbid if there is any war between Algeria and Morocco, don't shoot at this
Please.
face, please.
Go. I'm still don't have.
Okay, just if there is any war between Algeria and Morocco, don't shoot at this face. Okay, remember me carefully. Don't shoot me.
Oh no, he dropped.
He just left.
He's gone again.
But I want to, until he comes back, I wanted to, because Rommel was actually on something really good here, and that was basically an African's perspective on the Ukraine war, which I think it pertains in an interesting way. So, I also, Rommel, you made your spiel, so to speak, on the Ukraine war. Analytical as always. I wanted to hear from Aymen and Vosh. What is as Africans, like, what is your perception of the Ukraine war? And I guess since Aymen keeps dropping off, Aymen, please, Algeria's perception of Ukraine war and maybe your own perception, if you'd like.
Aymen, you're muted.
Not this war. We don't have anything. Now, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Algeria perspective is like the general South is that we stay out of this war. We have sent our Ministry of Foreign Affairs to Russia and to Ukraine to start solving the problem. And we opened our embassy lately in Ukraine, so we're not into any side. That is the official state. On the unofficial state, people that are, because they are mostly anti-NATO, anti-Western, so they are more clean to Russian side than the Ukrainian side.
Fun story. President Putin is more popular in the Arab world than most Arab leaders.
Same in Africa.
Yes, including Morocco. Putin is more popular in the Arab world than most Arab leaders. Like his approval rating in the Middle East is something like 90%. It's why in Palestine it's like 95. The vast majority of the Western of the South of the Church world is pretty. Yes, including Morocco. President Putin is more popular in Morocco than our own leadership.
I think the similar situation is in most of Asia as well, where I wouldn't say it's like 90%, but most of Asia
Japan.
has very, very positive view of Putin. Only maybe maybe Singapore, where they are very influenced by Western media, have a different point of view. But like, for example, if the country is majority Muslim, like Indonesia, Malaysia, they tend to have very positive opinion of Putin because Russia, going to Syria, and help, and then they have a history of helping.
You wonder why most of the West countries treat Muslim people like they don't have a good thing to say about them. Just, oh, you're Muslim, oh, go eat bacon. Oh, you are terrorist. Now they see someone go head to head against the West. They seem like this guy is the guy we needed before, and he's here now. Let's support him. Same in Africa. If you see countries like France, I'm not gonna say Portugal because Portugal lost it. Portugal lost it, but I'm gonna say France, England, and the United States. This country, they promise a lot of things enough. They say we're gonna build this and that. It's been like 20, some countries 50 years, and nothing was done. Nothing at all
I
was
think
done.
China is the
And China went. China
yes.
went. China went to Angola just 20 years ago. And if you see Angola 20 years before China, it's really, really different. And
Vosh, I wanted
China can do more. China can do more.
Vosh, I want to actually just close the circle here of Africans' perspective of the Ukraine war. I wondered if you could just tell a little bit about Angola and Russia, because Angola and Russia has a somewhat special relationship. It goes fairly far back, as far as I know. So, I would, can you please, elucidate for us a little bit?
The thing with Russia, Soviet Union back in the day, Angola was a communist country, 100% communist country. If there was a communist country in Africa, that was Angola. That was Angola. That was a proper communist country. And with that, Angola helped other countries fighting colonialism with the help of Soviet Union. And
but Angola was the last one. Well, Angola was almost the last one to get its independence. So
it was the last.
There was a lot of, to help.
That's in Southwest Africa. Southwest Africa. Angola was, I think.
Where's the last
Angola,
one?
Mozambique. No. There was Namibia. There was Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. But Angola helped this country. Helped this country when they were independent. Angola were helping them because of Soviet Union. If you see Namibia, you go to Namibia. Namibia is a big country. There is no population there. There is no population there. But if you ask them, they see Russia. They still think Russia is Soviet Union. They treat Russia like a big daddy.
It is a continuation, but you see,
they treat Russia like a big daddy. Zambia, Zimbabwe.
I think the influence of the Soviet Union is much bigger than just a memory. Copying. We have José Eduardo Santos. He studied in Russia and he married a Russian woman from Azerbaijan. The new president, João Lourenço, he also studied in Russia. We have João Lourenço, the new president of Angola, the third president of Angola since independence. He studied in the Soviet Union in Moscow, so he also speaks a bit of Russian. So almost all his generals studied in Russia. We have to take in attention, for instance, that Russia is the biggest industrial partner for the diamonds exploration.
Prata.
Actually, it's not Russia. Actually, it's South Africa.
South Africa now. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
But South Africa. Okay, Rommel, go on.
Yeah, there is also another factor for the African-Russian relationship. Is that without Russia, we starve. Russia exports most of its wheat to Africa. So if we don't get the wheat, we starve. We literally starve.
Russia now for 2014, they understood something very interesting. They understood first, oil and gas as an energy source is going to diminish, is going to lose its momentum. It still will have moment for a couple of decades, but it will lose its momentum. And what did they do? Already in 2015, they invested in agriculture like crazy. In 2015, they started exploring wheat, producing wheat, and become immediately almost the first biggest producer or second biggest producer. They are now the biggest producer ever. In this year, they increased their production almost by 30 or 50%. It's like an immense quantity. We don't need Ukraine anymore. We don't need Ukraine.
Yeah, you see Belarus, the president here, Lukashenko, I think is his name. He just went to Africa. You see the thing is, no, he gave that for free. He gave that for free. Something African countries been waiting for the West to do. This guy went to Africa and gave that to Zambia, Zimbabwe. These people, they don't ask a lot. You're never gonna see these people go on the street and do the same thing we have been seeing German and other European countries. They just ask for food.
I wonder.
When I'm saying food, it's not a lot. It's just water and bread. If you give these people water and bread, they're not gonna ask for anything else. And Lukashenko went to Africa, gave these people the thing they need. You have your own food. There's the
thing
treasures.
about
Do your thing.
But I would like you guys to maybe talk a little bit more about Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe is a very interesting case, for me at least, that it has been under sanctions for I think about 20 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It has developed it, and for that reason,
This
it has developed over this period a very semi-independent industry. Not necessarily industry, but it's
I
like
know
a sector. It's fairly consolidated, all things considered. And then Lukashenko came and he gave tractors that was made in Belarus to enhance the agricultural industry in Zimbabwe, which was starting to become quite potent at this point. And it has made a lot more deals with China. It has officially it's using actual physical gold coins in exchanges. It's a pretty peculiar and I find it very fascinating as geopolitics go, contemporary geopolitics. Zimbabwe has a lot of quirks going on for it. So anyone here care to kind of broaden my understanding of this?
Yeah, Zimbabwe is like Mexico, Uruguay, Paraguay. You know, they go a proper place for agriculture. They can live just from the farmers. But the thing is, the rich people own the farmers in Zimbabwe. What they do with the farm, they just grow fucking tobacco. Do you really think African people care about tobacco? They don't fucking care. They smoke weed, that's it. What they gonna do with tobacco? Nothing. They have to buy their vegetables from South Africa, you know, when they have the place to grow their own food. That's the problem with Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe was a bastard, no doubt about that. But they ask, just give my people food. That's all we want, food. But the bitch fuck off. We got Marlboro to do. That's the problem with Zimbabwe.
I think Zimbabwe.
Do you want to hear the?
Go on.
Rommel?
I think
Do you want to hear a funny story?
You go. I go.
The Zimbabwe refused a pharmaceutical company of China that makes condoms because they are too small for Zimbabwe, man. When I read that, I fucking laugh.
Mugabe tried several. I think Mugabe tried several experiments, social experiments, and they didn't go well because if they were succeeded, many things that would open the eyes of many countries in the world and will destroy what we are seeing now, eroding extremely strong, which is the power of Western coins, Western currencies. In the way they control the economy of other states. And Zimbabwe tried several things. They might have been meant to fail or no, but for instance, they had hyperinflation because he wrote down for the central bank a rule that any community, a city, a province, a village, could go to the central bank and ask for loans to some local projects. The problem was, of course, that in this process, the central bank went out of reserves, but we also know there was some foreign intervention in doing so, and the country went like completely broken, more or less. Yes, but
that's the story you hear on the BBC. That's the thing you hear on the BBC.
That's not true. The sanctions did it. The problem was that they used the thing, which was bad because people were being bitten, but it was many of the stories were being made up about the farmers, the white farmers, and they used the sanctions to block it. So the country didn't got immediately broken because of this monetary policy. It got broken because of the sanctions. Now, what we saw after that was a complete chaos because the central bank stopped emitting their own coin. They start using all types of coins from the local countries, the rand from South Africa, from Malawi, dollar, pounds, whatever. And now they were suffering a lot of inflation, and they decided to do something that nobody was expecting. They decided to coin golden coins and give and pay their public servants with them. And immediately what happened was that inflation's got down. It was able to stop inflation because people were actually storing money and they didn't make so much. They kind of had a feeling of stability, and in doing so, inflation stopped. But I would be very curious to know how is the situation in Morocco and in Algeria now about inflation. How is this causing trouble for your life?
8%, I believe, was the last thing. But we don't feel it, really. We don't feel inflation.
You don't feel it at all? Whoa.
No.
In Europe, it's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, I know. The reason why we don't feel it that high because our energy supplies come from Big Daddy Saudi Arabia. It doesn't come from Europe and the United States of America and Saudi Arabia. We have an agreement. Don't fuck us, please. And they're like, yes, we're not gonna fuck you, brother. That's why. And then on top of that, our king is a very big friend with Mohammed bin Salman. So that's why we have a good relation.
I can point out that by very stark contrast, because what you're mentioning there that you barely notice it, like I notice it here in Norway. We are an oil producing country. We benefit tremendously from the war.
The reason why
even starker contrast, and that would be gone now, where they have an inflation of 50 to 60%. Their economy has completely collapsed. So it's like very interesting to see that Morocco just like, oh, you guys get inflation and stuff? No, not us.
How about Aymen? Aymen in Algeria?
I'm hearing. I'm not hearing Popin. I'm hearing him through Rommel. That's the problem. In Algeria, we have very controlled currency by the state. So the inflation is very controlled under but from like the 20 years, this 20 years, we have a lot of inflation, but we feel it only in imported stuff. While everything like electricity, gas, oil is everything is local, everything is subsidized, so not so much.
That makes a lot of sense. Because that's the problem with I think Europe, because they need to import a lot of things, and when you import things, then you incur all these additional costs, and it's the same thing in Russia. You know, Russia did not suffer a lot of inflation because they don't really import much stuff. Generally speaking, the most important things they produce themselves. Rommel, you wanted to say something, Rommel?
Yes, about the situation in Norway. The reason why you feel inflation is because your production is not made for internal consumption. You send that a lot to Europe to help them. That's why you felt a lot of inflation.
Yes, it also has to do with much of our assets and money, so to speak, are around the globe, and they are held also in the US dollar. So we are invariably affected by the inflation of the US dollar. It causes all of our holdings to kind of go down, and so we kind of compensate to some extent. There's some fudging here with the budgets, but yeah, you're also you're also logically correct there. It's true that we are by far self-reliant, or at least we haven't structured our economy to be entirely self-reliant. We do export quite a lot of both hydropower, wind power, and we export quite a lot of gas and oil. Now we're running full machine, high prices. It's great for us.
Yes,
Um,
other thing. My country has, I believe, 15% of entire electricity is generated by renewable energy, mostly solar and wind.
and rivers, I think rivers.
Yeah,
And
you've got 50%. I think we have
Algeria,
about 90.
Algeria produce also a lot from rivers, but mostly from their gas. Aymen, where the energy comes from?
Algeria is the biggest country in the world that has no rivers. We don't have none, nothing. All we
Don't
have
have
is land,
energy from the
no
rivers.
water at all. Nothing. Only dams. Yes, dams, but
Yes,
only
dams.
smaller amount of solar panels. Dams get water from the rain, not from rivers.
Ah,
So
yeah, but
it's mostly
heard,
seasonal.
heard you also produce some hydroelectrical energy. That's why I was saying that.
Yes. We use some solar panel in the south, but mostly gas.
Yes, tell me something. Energy in your country is extremely cheap, right?
Extremely cheap. Yes, all of it.
Yes. Algeria has a huge production of energy. They have. Oh, I took the information. I was surprised. They really have a huge production. The problem with Morocco is exactly the opposite. They don't have enough, and they could industrialize faster, but they have a problem of energy sources. So that's why when I was talking about their amazing potential of working force, yes, they have a problem. They need to increase their energetic production.
The problem that we have is that we have the energy, but we just can't access them. In the Western Sahara, there's a
Is
lot
it
of.
now?
No, it's not about the infrastructure. The Western Sahara is rich in natural resources. However, we signed an agreement with the UN that stipulates that we're not going to exploit them. That's the problem. That's the only issue that we have.
Algeria even have some unexplored potential on shale gas and shale in the desert and also in the coast. But because we have an easier access to other energy sources, we just use that. About the youth problem, Algeria. About the youth problem, Algeria have a problem in Dutch syndrome, if you know it. When we have a lot of potential in Dutch syndrome, it's when the Dutch Netherlands found gas, they used it to when their economy started to fall because they were totally dependent on their gas and energy source.
Yes,
That's what we have.
They stopped their economy and started only an economy on gas. That's the syndrome. They went to Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's a problem we mostly have, is that for many years, every time we try to do something, then gas and petrol go up. We just go sleep and we take money.
But don't forget, Aymen, Algeria just has 2% of international debt. Is extremely low. Actually, your country is free to do whatever they want if they have the intelligence to do it.
Algeria is one of the most subsidized countries in the world, and like now, if you are unemployment, you can take payment from the state. It's something that you find only in European state, not even in Africa. So you take unpayment money. You have very subsidized a lot of things. So the population doesn't have that initiative. I think that is the problem, at least. And the state afraid from the people if it push some programs that will start economy.
But your unemployment rate is like nothing.
Official.
No, and yes. No, and yes.
Because let me tell you exactly the unemployment rate of Morocco. The unemployment rate of Morocco is something like 9%. I reassure you, the unemployment rate in Morocco is much more higher than that. It's not 9%.
And it could be also much less, because I know a lot of people that are have work, but don't say they register as unemployment to get the benefits in Algeria.
Yes, in Morocco and in the Arab world in general, we have a big informal economy. We have a very big informal economy. Do you have Aymen, in Algeria? Do you have aswaq? Aswaq. You can you hear me? Like
Can hear,
where
but I
Yes,
there
don't
is
know
I
what's
hear
the
you.
swap.
aswaq. When
Huh?
they sell electronic, where they say there is
Markets.
market, yes,
Markets.
more or less. Not the market that we think of. We think of markets where they sell electronic, they sell headphone, etc.
Yes,
But without knowledge of the state. We have them. We have but we estimated that if we regulate those, if we formalize them, the economy of Morocco will grow by $150 billion if we formalize those markets. It's like it's informal places in Morocco, throughout Morocco, where there's a big industrial capacity, but they are not formalized. They don't pay taxes. They are not regularized. They do anything. We call them in Morocco درب عمال. We have them in Casablanca. They are called درب عمال. The estimation of just one of these markets is estimated at $12 billion. Just in Morocco, just in Casablanca, one city, one of these markets is $12 billion.
I'm curious to know
we have the similar problem here also. Go.
I have been previously I've been reporting and following about the situation in France in terms of their energy, and then there is this big news about they're trying to import energy from Algeria, that some gas pipeline or something, because their nuclear power plants is like all falling apart. Then it seems like then after Algeria cancelled the deal or something like this. Do you have any idea? What is the situation between Algeria and France?
There is a meme. Whenever the French president wants gas from Algeria, he make a video with Shab Khaled. Shab Khaled is a famous singer from Algeria.
Remember that amazing last year? That amazing comment that Algeria didn't exist before France.
Yes.
French created Algeria.
Yeah, like it's wild. Whenever they need oil, they make a video with one of the most famous singer in Algeria by the name of Shab Khaled, and he said a video, "Vive l'amitié entre l'Algérie et la France. Long live the friendship between Algeria and France." And I'm like, you fucking slaughtered 1 million Algerians. Shut up. Like it's wild. The reason why their nuclear is gonna break down is because Russia is gonna start to intervene in West Africa, where they have the CFA front, and France gets, I believe, 50% of its entire uranium from Niger. If Wagners go there and fuck one mile, the French economy is done.
Well, the French president just went to Angola, and he was like trying to get mining rights and some kind of, with the excuse they are going to help Angolans and to produce more agricultural stuff. Excuse.
I'll try to answer to Wyatt. France never formally asked for gas. They just testing things. The countries that formally ask for gas are Italy and get a huge increase, and also Slovenia, Germany, Central Europe, and some countries in Eastern Europe. All of them ask for Algerian gas, and now is going through Italy to them. That's about the gas station. Angola, the Angolian president just came to Algeria, just to say it. Angolian president is in Algeria today.
He's there today. Wow. Hey, Voz do Povo, say something about Algeria.
You should also ask Aymen about the DGSS, the Secret Service of France. They just violated Algeria's natural border, right? Aymen.
Our
Boss,
conversation.
your mic have no sound. Boss, your mic have no sound. You might have to like reconnect your mic.
Shit, Aymen, you look like Bashar al-Assad. You really look
Aymen looks like he's like, don't shoot.
you
Aymen
you
look a lot like
Bashar
Assad.
al-Assad. Yeah, you look like him. Shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
I blame the
actually,
poor
Aymen is-
legislation.
Unplug
One
it
of the
and
ways
plug it
Aymen makes
again.
his living is by being
Unplug it
paid as a
and plug
double
it
agent
again.
for Assad.
Now, yes, speak. Now, yes, speak.
It's not.
Yes, we'll listen to you.
Wyatt,
You
you're
need to
muted.
unmute. Yeah.
Watch this.
No sound man, boss man.
You're muted. It should be our slogan. It is our slogan.
So is there anything that we need to cover before we close the panel?
anything that we need to cover before we close the panel?
For my part, let's see. We're having a lot of feedback here. Is it gone? Yeah,
I
okay.
think it's from boss.
Okay, so Wyatt, you have something else you need to attend to. So we are reaching that feedback.
Yeah, it's the boss one. So I just muted him. Yeah.
Okay, so because you got something you need to do anyways, and this was supposed to be a fairly light, conversational introduction. Yeah, Vosh, if you can please stay muted because we're having a lot of feedback. I hear myself, which is very unnerving. I lost my train of thoughts here.
You say that I have something to go, and then yeah.
Right. So we should we just start wrapping up here with some closing statements, and I think I'll just start with Vosh, and yeah. Vosh, do you have any closing statements?
No sound. Voss have no sound. Oh no, Voss cannot have his closing statement.
Okay, I'll start. Aymen, if you see this face, don't shoot him. That's the first thing you need to say. Don't shoot him. If we go to war, Algeria and Morocco go to war, please don't shoot me. Remember me, please. And I promise not to shoot you. If you get captured, I'll send you my name, and I'll make sure they treat you well. Okay? That's it. Just please don't
That's
kill
it.
me.
So that's a closing statement. Oh my freaking god.
Yeah, that's pretty dark as a closing statement. Don't kill me. To another panelist. So shall we try Vosh again and see if his mic is working? Vosh, no sound.
It's not working. Oh, so sad.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll try the live
I will
speak.
go next.
Yes, Aymen, please.
I will. First of all, thank you, all of you, especially Wyatt, for providing the infrastructure to Commander to meet each other without the open mic, without everything that we will never meet, we will never talk, we will never have this opportunity to express ourselves to a general audience. So thank you, Wyatt. It was very, very fun to have this talk. So, and I hope we can meet again sooner than later. Goodbye.
And hopefully not on the battlefield.
You also hope that the next time, because we're gonna have more of these African panels for sure. Because I think there's so much to cover. Like there's still more things that we haven't even talked about. But Rwanda, Congo,
and we need more people. I sorry to interject, but I'm just gonna, because there's been a little bit of talks here. We gotta need some new people rather quick, because Aymen has still not confirmed that he will not shoot Rommel. So we may need some replacement real soon here. Please just take that into consideration. Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
I commend the unit of sniper. I'm be the one who's gonna be doing the shooting, not the other way around.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have better internet. So no, you need to Aymen need to tell your government to install better internet. So Prata.
So it was a really interesting panel, and I think starting with Algeria and Morocco was a very good start. We have two countries that are extremely important for what we are going to do from here up about Africa. Morocco is one of the first countries in Africa that was able to get its independence, and then all the suffering that was happening in Algeria, but also the intellectual production that came out of it. No, Franks Fanon would be a great intellectual to somehow understand what happened from here up into Africa, but also the role of Algeria in being able to produce, to make France actually understand that it needs to give Africans, Black Africans, their independence too. So it was a great start, and I hope the next one will be as productive, as amazingly explanatory like we had today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because I also want to highlight to the viewers that sometimes Africa is actually not that far away. Like the distance between Morocco and Algeria from Spain is nearer than Finland to Poland. It's it's really just next to each other. It's part of the Mediterranean. In the past there's no European and Africa. It's just Mediterranean. It's actually part of the same region. Rommel, want to say something?
Yes, Spain still has colonies in Morocco. They still control two cities.
Yes. It's amazing that we still haven't had the ability to discolonize Ceuta.
Yeah. So Voss still have no sound.
One more thing.
Oh my god!
One more
You
thing.
have to use hand sign, to tell us your
Well, how about you disconnect your headset and use the loudspeaker microphone, and we just get muted so we don't get the feedback. Let's see if that works.
Hello? Any sound?
Yeah, you're a little bit low, but if you can talk.
Yeah, you're a little bit low, but if you can talk.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're very low.
Can hear you, but you're very low.
Too close to it.
That is so weird. That is so weird.
Take the headphones out and speak to your computer, and we all mute. So let's guys all mute, and he speaks. Yeah.
So let's guys all mute, and he speaks. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So what do I have to say? Now I lost. Okay. The thing is, thank you, Wyatt, for another opportunity. I hope it's not the last one. Yeah. Things like that need to be heard. People don't talk a lot about Africa, There's a lot of things I learned today. Thanks for my Moroccan and Algerian friend. Because of you too, I learned a lot of things. And again, Rommel, you told me something I didn't know. I thought Gaddafi was a hero back in the Arab world, but in your own world, he's a bastard. And France is still France, bunch of cunts. So thank you again, and I hope we're gonna do that again. Copying. You need to do more things like that, We need that. And Prata, you know your African history for Portuguese guy. Well done, guy.
All right. So have Coping done your closing? Have Coping done closing yet?
Well, I guess I I might do that, and then you finish this off. So first and foremost,
One more statement before.
oh please.
One before coping. I want to say something to the viewers of this video. You either put a like or I will come and kill you. That's the first thing. Second, if you have any question, please comment. Please comment, and I will try to read every comment and respond to it. So and share this video for everyone to learn about Africa. We will meet again soon.
We will meet again soon. That sounds like a threat. Shit. It's truly Bashar al-Assad.
All right. So, gentlemen, first and foremost, I must thank you for coming on. Because to me it was very important that I get to gather people, because I wanted to learn more, and I certainly have. And I'm also very grateful that I think this panel went a whole lot better than I kind of anticipated, because we had a lot of to the people in the audience. You should know. Usually we are only backstage for like 5-10 minutes, clear out, and then the panel start. This panel took over an hour because there were a lot of connection issues, delays of miscellaneous kinds, and you've noticed Aymen has been dropping out, and we've had some audio issues. But all in all, we managed to keep it quite coherent. I think we managed to stay on. You touch on some really important topics that are informative from all sides. All of you, it's I can only give you a blanket statement. It was a great, well done. I particularly enjoyed it that we also managed to not just cover Africa country by country and kind of some relations outside in a general term, but also kind of how Africans view, for example, the situation in Europe. I think we will get into. We were talking quite a bit in backstage, me and Vosh and Prata. We will probably talk about Latin America in the future panels, because this ties very much into Angola and Mozambique and the Portuguese language. So you guys watching, just know we have a lot of good in store. We were struggling a little bit how to get started because it's so big. Like, where do you start? I think we this is as good as we can hope for. I was at least very satisfied with it. And as Aymen said, like, if you're watching this and you haven't hit the like button, I'm gonna be around Aymen with him. I'm gonna hunt you down and make you pay if you don't put that like button. We're gonna have a match of likes and views. It's on you. Okay. Anyways, I should also want to tell you, we really appreciate you watching. We appreciate you, like Aymen said, also, we really appreciate you commenting. I can tell you, I for certain will be trying to engage, or at least take into consideration your comments. And I would like to emphasize one closing thing, that I think I want to re-emphasize this. We want you to get engaged with also the DPA open mic channel, because this you're watching on the main channel, but it originates from the open mic. The crew, the people, and everything there is generated there, where people from around the world, as you can see now, we're just basically random people from all walks of life, exchanging opinions and perceptions and asking questions, and like having a beer or whatever. And so, like, we would like more people to participate, especially in this. From our group, we definitely want more people from Africa in particular. But we also do want people from Latin America, because we're lacking people there. So if you know someone from Latin America, do share, try to get relevance in it. But do, first and foremost, subscribe to the open mic channel. And this channel, of course, if you haven't. And if you don't, you're going to get killed. But if you should also go to the open mic channel, because, and I'm just going to put this as, because it's beautiful. You see, the open mic, once you've gone through the open mic and you've shown yourself, you get to meet people. All of us, we start naturally getting into focal groups, our interest, and we get to discuss it freely. We don't have any censorship, and I'm sure we have some prejudice, but I would say we're actually a very civilized gang. And I am going to quote a fellow panelist of ours, a fellow open micer, and a certain Australian with an Anglo agenda.
The
Toby.
kangaroo.
Toby has, yes, the kangaroo man. He has an Anglo agenda, and they are onto you. Do you know that? Well, to many of you in the audience who commenters who tend to give him quite a lot of flack, much of it I think is unjustified because I'm a little bit biased, of course. You should know this man is actually quite funny and insightful and informative. He comes with several like poetic streaks at times. There's never once I go into the chat if Toby has had his rants and tirades or basically outlet of things he had just been reading. It's bound to be entertaining. And sometimes he comes with gems that are so good, I just have to grab it and give it to you as a teaser because it is not only poetic, but it is indeed descriptive as well as instructive. So, by courtesy of Toby Stewart, the open mic, which you may think is chaotic, especially compared to the panels, know this, you should come on the open mic because, as Toby Stewart says, the open mic is the greasy pole you need to climb up in order to enter the DPA treehouse of knowledge. And then when you enter, you also get to find out exactly how much Aymen wants to kill Rommel and vice versa. How much spy versus spy the Moroccans and Algerians have, and yeah, you get to see. So yeah, please come with us, join us. You know, we appreciate it if you can share this video, this panel. Someone you know, especially again, try to get more people involved. Try to encourage them to the open mic because that's how we all met, and we are all very, very appreciative of it. And with that, I will just give it a final thanks to Wyatt because you are the founder, the one who established the infrastructure, as Rommel aptly put it. And you know the way that Wyatt operates should also be telling everyone in the audience quite a bit, because again, Wyatt is basically just enabling this to happen. There's no one being paid here. We are all just freely associating. He's just basically allowing us to join. We by ourselves, like me, I wasn't even African, but I was interested, sponsored a group. We managed to have this panel, and Wyatt didn't give us any instructions whatsoever. He just told us like, this is the time I can, and so forth, purely administrative. So understand that when you're watching this, you're basically watching an organic development of conversation. Just people getting together and wanting to talk about things that are interesting that you can often not talk about outside. And you know, how many people do you know that you can talk politics or start talking extensively about African history and why it might be important for you to know and or interesting at the very least, right? So yeah, thank you, Wyatt. Thank you, all my fellow panelists, and thank you all in the audience for watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting. And above all, please, if you can, share. Thank you all.
So it's my turn to closing. So I don't know a lot. I mean I know some things about Africa, but it's like I don't think I can consider myself to know anything. So I learned a lot, definitely, for sure. And and I highly encourage anyone who are Africans to come on the open mic, because you need to be largely the idea is that we want people to qualify themselves on the open mic first before they can join a panel, so so that they have a they get burnt before they join the nice things. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm very appreciate every all the panelists here to join the panel. It's not easy to organize a panel, so a lot of credits to Coping to organize all this. It's not easy. Like, you have to organize like 6 persons timing all at the same time, and then decide all the agenda, and all I do was just appear, so no credits is all to Coping. So
different time zones.
In different time zones. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you guys will like this. And sorry for all the the interruptions and everything, because that's just how it is. We are all in different time zone, different countries. Internet connections can be a very not here and there. So anyway, I bet you guys understand. And for those that can sustain and watch all the way to this point, you have just gained a DPA medal of the African diamond with a lot of blood. So anyway, so you guys got diamond, got the diamond medal now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.
Bye bye.